welcome to Doors and Corners, a sci-fi and fantasy film commentary podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Zach. And every Friday, we sit down and watch a science fiction or fantasy film and give our 2 cents on its quality, production, story, and trivia.
We watch the film together, but without sounds or visuals provided to avoid copyright issues. But if you do have access, we encourage you to join us and follow along.
Here, we like to keep things casual, and there may be discussions of spoilers or sensitive materials or language. But we do try and keep things clean and family-friendly. Ultimately, the goal of this podcast is to create the experience of us all sitting down and watching this movie together.
So get ready to hit that play button, because we're about to get started.
Damn doors and corners, that's where they get you.
Welcome back to Doors and Corners. I'm Brian.
I'm Zach.
And rejoining us for this third installment of the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy, we have Natasha.
Hello.
Hello. My spawn, my oldest child.
His larva.
Yeah. I kind of like you, though.
Great
I
introduction.
can put my no girls allowed sign back.
Yes. Next week you can put your sign back up. No, it has been so much fun having you join us here, Tosh. So, but
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Maybe if we come across a film sometime in the future that you're interested in, you'll grace us with your presence again. But tonight we're wrapping up. It's been fun, this whole trilogy. This is definitely, like fantasy, classic animation. It's a lot of things, this trilogy, and it's I hadn't watched these in a little while, and I haven't watched all 3 of them this close together in years. So it's been a lot of fun. But any opening thoughts about this third installment before we begin?
Yeah.
I like it.
You go first.
I'm done.
You done?
Zach, who usually is a man of many words, he likes it.
I could go into it a lot. It's just a lot of people seem to consider this one the worst one, and I don't necessarily know if I disagree, but it does have some more, it does seem to have some more glaring faults than the other 2, but it's not bad by any measure.
No.
Oh, no. I kind of on a similar thought process where I don't think that this third film is bad. There are parts of it I actually really, really like. There's just like a few points in the film that when compared to maybe the faults you can find in the other film just seem more obvious, which I think makes it appear worse than it probably actually is, especially when you have the other 2 films to compare it to as well. I think that's the only problem with sequels is it's easy to, when a mistake happens in a sequel and you compare it to its better, first film, then it seems worse than it actually is. But then if you compare the film to other films that have much more problems, then you're like, oh well, actually this isn't really that big of an issue. But it's still fair to call it out.
Yeah.
That's what constructive criticism is all about.
Yeah. No, I'm similar. This is to me easily the weakest film, but it's also really good. So it's definitely anybody who says this movie isn't good, I challenge that all day long. The this trilogy, the first movie is a 9.8 for me. The second movie is a 9.3, and this one's a 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar thought process.
I'll accept it.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, I think that it doesn't have, it does have some amazing sequences. But this movie is also just, gorgeous. There's some shots.
Oh, the animation is out of this world in this movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
I might have a slightly controversial opinion, but
it also has 17 minutes of dragon flirting.
Yes. Yes. Those are probably my favorite parts.
Yeah. Oh, the whole...
A lot of horny dragons.
Yeah. I think, right off the bat, I'll just say that just like the second film, I think that this film struggles with its villain, and it's just, to me, it's really the only criticism I would have. Other than that, it's just, I wish that they had developed a few things a little better, but the main characters, Hiccup's great, Toothless is great, the dragon flirting is genuinely funny. The whole sequence where Roughnut is just being annoying in prison, it just makes me laugh. It's just, it's still Kristen Wiig in this film, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, it's still
Yeah.
Christian Wiig. The only casting change is that T.J. Miller didn't return
Yeah.
because,
He had some
well, he
issues.
decided to make a problem of himself.
Is it still Kate Blanchett? Because her
Yes,
it's
it is
okay.
still Kate Blanchett.
It's a very she sounds different. I don't know why. Or it's just that her delivery isn't as like I recognized her voice in the second movie. And in this movie I just rewatched this yesterday and I was like, okay, I'm assuming this is still her, but it doesn't I don't know why. For some reason to me it didn't sound like her, and I'm not sure if I'm just crazy. It's just very possible. But
You're not crazy. She sounds kind of like she's recording it from like a toilet. She's in the bathroom and recording it, and she just sent it into him.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
it does sound like
did
instead
that
of
in a
with the
day.
yeah, instead of like with the voice director and like in a room and the cool behind the scenes, like it sounds like she ran into a studio in LA somewhere, recorded for a couple hours, and then like went on to something else. It just I was a little, because the mom character does have a few good moments in this movie for sure. But yeah, I was, anyways, nitpicks, but still a ton of fun. So
Indeed.
any yeah,
I'm gonna jump into this one pretty quick.
yeah, let's get going.
All right. I am excited.
How excited!
Like a 7.
So, you said last week that this was back to a directing pair. What are the highlights of the
I
credits?
thought it was. I thought it was, but in this particular case, no. It just the other gentleman who had co-directed the first one with him, as well as things like Lilo and Stitch, by the name of Chris Sanders, did not return. I thought he did. That was my mistake. This was
Wow,
just Dean DeBlois again. DeBlois. I'll
leading us
never say his
astray.
name right.
No, and he is the one
I
that's
can't believe I
directing.
forgot my sweet deeds.
He is the one who's directing the live action, right? Isn't it the same guy?
Yes, the live action Lilo and Stitch, which I will never forgive.
Or no, the live action How to Train Your Dragon,
How to Train Your Dragon.
which is like in
Oh,
2 weeks or 2 weeks from
yeah,
recording.
that's right.
No, not even 2 weeks. It's like next weekend, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I've already seen the theater
it's like June 11th,
theater ones.
and we're recording this earlier in June. So, it's okay. It's odd to me that the directing team that made How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch, the live action adaptations of both of those movies came out a month apart. It's just funny that worked out that way.
Yeah. So yes, he's writing and producing Lilo and Stitch, but he is directed time of recording How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake, which I have less faith in after Lilo and Stitch, and their choices to make everything almost photo copy of the original, but then change certain casting really make it feel awkward. Like everything is picture perfect the same except certain casting members, and it feels
Yeah.
strange. Like the
Well, it makes
the
it stand
skinny
out even more.
twins are heavy, shall we say.
Well, it's they're Vikings. There's not a lot of historical debate on certain things there.
Yeah. Well, there's the race casting, but again, they like take the twins and they make them distinctly
I find
different.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that casting be the more baffling one to me out of any of the others.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I saw a picture of the twins and I was like, huh?
Right? It looks so weird. But at the same time, having the actor Julian Dennison as Fish Legs, which if you guys ever saw Deadpool 2, he was the kid in that. Just
Oh.
fantastic casting
That-
choice. For
that's
Fish
him?
Legs.
Okay, that
A little
actually is
dark.
perfect.
Not exactly Viking looking, but the right vibes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that was him. Yeah, it's I'll probably see it, but I'm not super pumped for it, even though I love the first film. So anyway, what are
They've already greenlit the sequel.
what are some other highlights
Here's
for
our
this
speed
third
for
installment?
How to Train Your Dragon. The Hidden World, which I hate that it has a subtitle. It should just be How to Train Your Dragon 3, which in 90% of the regions it was released, it was credited as just How to Train Your Dragon 3. Came out in 2019. It was rated PG, 1 hour and 44 minutes long. This was directed by Dean DeBlois. starring Jay Baruchel, America Ferrera, Kate Blanchett, returning Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Kristen Wiig, Kit Harington, Justin Ruppel, replacing the troublesome T.J. Miller, and F. Murray Abraham as Grimmel, the ever wonderful F.
Yeah.
Murray Abraham.
He's great. As much as I think the villain is underdeveloped, his voice acting is amazing.
Now, as we go ahead and start this thing, maybe I'll tell you why the villain was underdeveloped.
All right. Well, as we watch some credits, let's get ready to hit that play button. As always, we encourage you guys to follow along with us by watching this. We are not starting at like the DreamWorks logo, where if you watched the last few weeks, we were jumping ahead because of the different versions we are streaming. But we are starting at 0000 today. So, I'm gonna hit that play button in 3, 2, 1, go.
Play.
Universal.
Yeah, the interesting thing, it has the Universal logo, where the last one was 20th Century Fox on the majority of versions. And before that, it was Paramount, because all three of the movies were released by different production companies.
Well, because
outside of DreamWorks, of course.
DreamWorks was bought by Comcast at a certain point, wasn't it?
That is correct.
Who owns Universal?
Right around the time of the second movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love this DreamWorks because you have like the way the clouds are, just the animation style, kind of that like heavy oil painting look. It's super cool.
I like when the sun comes in. The colors are really nice.
Yeah.
But the reason why the villain was underdeveloped is because he was kind of a last-minute addition. Their original intention was actually the villain from the last one to return and have a redemption arc.
He did, though.
He did. You can always fix death. Just take his other arm and he'll just be stumpy.
Take his other arm. He's just shoulder bashing everybody and yelling,
right?
Because he's got that yell. A lot of screaming. Holds the reins of his dragon in his teeth.
Then they removed him, and the villain was actually not going to be any type of villain. The antagonist was technically going to be Hiccup himself.
Funny you say that at this scene.
Right? And it wasn't until late that they decided that they needed an external villain and introduced F. Murray Abraham's weird little guy.
This is a good shot, by the way.
Oh, this is such a cool shot. Like
the fire and lighting animation is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the lighting is exceptional.
And
I love this. I love this armor. This kind of almost like medieval Power Ranger look.
Yeah.
A fun fact is, so this type of opening they're doing, they were actually going to do something very similar in the second film. The second film was originally going to open with a shot of Valka like rescuing, like attacking a trapper ship or something like that, and like freeing a couple dragons, but they changed it later. But they kind of brought the idea back for this film, of just kind of opening with a raid on a ship.
For tradition, I almost wish, just for the sake of uniformity, that it opened again with like a flyover of Burke with the narration again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. This is the only one that doesn't.
I do like Astrid in this movie. She's sassy.
She kind of steals the show.
Oh yeah, she's really. I think through all three of these movies, she is an amazing example of writing, especially for a love interest and a leader in her own right and a girl. It's just like all those categories, they do a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I like this little thing. It's so
so far, and it's obviously so stupid that it can't get through the big holes in the bars.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
I think Rough Nut, like as a side note, is especially funny in this film specifically.
Oh yeah.
Like all of her little moments are like, I find to be very funny.
Yeah.
I actually find Snotlout to be annoying in this movie.
Yes.
Like,
is it because of his fascination with MILFs?
Well, it's just,
that might be part of it. He's just, I don't know. He's just
I don't find him very
know.
funny. I just find him annoying. That whole sequence there with like the head bonk with the handle, the axe, and just I love that he reloads his sword. Ah,
Yes.
Now, let me ask you this though, Brian. When's the last time there was a scene break?
oh, right there.
A while ago.
Yeah,
Right there.
That was a 90-second oneer,
yeah. Although for
which
animation,
is insane.
that is really
It's
good.
even harder.
Well,
it-
I feel like it's
like-
it's both. It's harder and easier because
Think about lighting.
technically you're creating all of it from scratch. So there's that. But to do it and do it well, because the entire environment of this sequence, like the way they do the lighting, the way they do the fog is really good. The pacing of the scene is good. Like just the choreography is very solid in this entire opening sequence.
Yeah. This is one of those scenes where I think it starts pretty good. And
Yeah.
it's funny. I might be that annoying person who's like, because I watched all the shows. I think part of the reason why I'm a little annoyed
That's
with
why you're
like
here.
yes. Well, with like so Snotlout, like Fish Legs, and even like the twins and stuff. Well, and even like just the whole like rating thing. It's a little funny because the shows are canon to the show, and it's like they've already gone on so many like raids and much more dangerous missions than that I'm like, the fact that they're stumbling a little bit here is kind of strange because they've already had so much like development and experience in the other shows.
Well, and the shows happened before this third film too, right? I mean, like they were released,
Yes.
like they were written already. It's not like they
That's
were
correct.
filmed.
They even reference them in a few places.
Yes, like especially one actually not even the show, but like a Christmas special ends up tying into the plot. Well, not plot, but like tying into the story. Like
Yeah,
very
they make an
significantly.
active. They make an active effort to reference it.
And since I think if the shows and the specials were a little less referenced in this film, then, or at least were not as heavily, it would be a little bit easier to be like, well, I guess it's like there's the movies and then there's, the shows. But they already made them canon and they already have tie-ins and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm just the annoying, all the fans, they didn't connect all the dots.
Connect all
Like Star Wars.
Well, we could never mind. Avoid that rabbit hole. Okay, the idea.
Okay, the Snotlout thing is also weird.
Yeah.
Like I can't help.
It's weird, but it's a weird that I don't necessarily mind. I think that I don't know. I've known some guys like that.
Yeah.
And
Also,
it's just-
I
See,
hate
why was it sloppy though? They're like they should be a really good trained team. And they've already the side characters especially, with the exception of like Hiccup and Astrid, all the other characters have already gone canonically through massive arcs before, and they're just kind of forgotten about in this film, not gonna lie. Like I like
One of the
Ruffnet in
problems
this
with
film,
prequels.
she's really funny. But even her it includes her too. Like, and yet you're right, the show was mostly done. Like there was only one season I think that wasn't out yet. When this third film.
this. Okay, somebody had to have
Yeah.
died right there. Like, there's
Yes,
no
there's
way.
no
There's no way somebody didn't
Vikings.
just die.
They're-
Like some random Burke citizen
Dies
just got
dysentery
crushed.
every year.
Sorry.
I was just saying. I think they're probably fine. Half of them die of dysentery every year. They're just like Dragon
Vikings.
collapsed,
It's still an occupational
no.
hazard.
Being a Viking. Oh, this
right?
hobgoblin.
Okay, the hobgoblin. I like this little joke throughout the film.
And they keep multiplying, right? You just like keep
Yes.
there's more and more
They
of
keep
them.
appearing, but only Gobber notices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just-
Okay, is it just
There's
me? Why
a-
does she look younger in this film? Is it just me? Does she look a
It's
little too
probably
young?
just good eating. It's probably just good eating.
yeah.
Okay, so this is one of my slight controversies about this film. Is I think it's a beautifully animated film, but there's something about the softness, I think, that the character designs have that I don't entirely love because of how photorealistic everything else is. And I think there's a roughness in the second film that I like a bit better, given the fact that we still have cartoon characters. with more exaggerated designs.
Yeah,
I
that is
don't know
one of
how
the
to.
problems that tends to happen with like just better animation technology. You saw the same issue happen, especially with Toy Story, but you could get away with it a little bit better with Toy Story because you're dealing with primarily toys and not just humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the dragons still look great, but like the human characters, like I don't know, there's just something like they
Well,
almost look
s- s-
weirdly like
soft
squishier,
soft is a great
softer.
word because their skin texture is it looks
Flawless. They look airbrushed.
yeah, they really do. They all look like they're wearing makeup. And Vikings should not
Mhm.
look like they're wearing makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not present in the second film, which I think is just a better balance, basically, is I think what's going on. Because there's obviously great animation in this film. It's beautiful. I'm not gonna, like, take any credit away from the animators. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I just, from a more subjective, artistic standpoint, I think there was a better balance in the second film than in this one. I think some of the colors are a little too strong at times, too.
No, I like
Um,
the colors. I love the colors.
but again,
Oh.
that part's more subjective.
Poor Hiccup.
But,
He's just getting like
Oh, poor
manhandled.
I know.
Here. Oh man.
yeah.
That beard would smell so bad. It would be just like
Well, it's
oh,
not.
man.
It's not a beard.
I know. Well, I mean the fake beard.
I
But
know.
after being in Gobber's armpit, essentially. Oh my gosh!
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Ugh. Well, so funny thing about Gobber, we saw a little bit of it just a second ago. If you watch him pretty closely in this movie, he is constantly watching Eret, son of Eret,
Ah,
Jon Snow there. Like, weirdly. Anytime he walks by, he'll like dwell on him, and then at the very end, when he throws the bouquet,
oh,
he, like,
that's
it
and Craig
lands on
Ferguson.
Eren.
He like made that decision, right? Like on his own.
Yes, he made the character gay.
Oh gosh.
But in the second one, because he ad-libbed that line, but here in the third one, they follow through with it via him just kind of having an obvious fascination with Eret.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, kind of weird. There's an age gap there, but they seem to like that. If Snotlout is anything to go by.
Well, the Snotlout one's really weird because like you just use some basic math with Hiccup's age alone, and it's like
Creepy. Red flags. I really
these
like
guys are kind of pointless, right? Like
Oh,
these three
yeah.
generals, like why
Well-
are they even here?
I mean, well, the entire. I mean, other than creating more of an obstacle by just numbers of ships and stuff, they serve no purpose whatsoever.
But
I
say
think
these
they're just
three
supposed
are
to expand the world.
these three are part of what I meant with if they were going to continue making stuff of How to Train Your Dragon, how they could have expanded further. This was part of my like argument, I think, from the first film or something. I don't know. We briefly had a discussion about the live action at some point. Maybe it was off recording, but that they could have gone further. They could have explored what dragon culture would be like in other countries and stuff, or just other regions.
Yeah, this guy's quite Greek, and then you have the obvious kind of Chinese, and then I think that her armor reflects sort of Persian.
I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah,
Nothing comes to mind
something
immediately.
Middle Eastern, yeah.
I don't know. I like the character design like this, but I hate it when he puts the hood up. He
Yeah.
genuinely just doesn't really look good. He doesn't look intimidating. And I wonder if it was just they didn't want to do hair physics.
I do like how they did try designing him kind of as a bit of a parallel to Hiccup. Like I can
Yeah.
see some cool concepts here. It's just similar to just not enough development really went into it.
Yeah, he's
Um,
Dark Hiccup. He just
He's
needs, like,
basically
a
what
little-
if Hiccup was evil?
Well, they even
Mirror
yeah. I mean,
Hiccup.
he uses gadgets. He obviously invents things, and they talk about the whole when you met your night fairy in the woods versus when I met mine. I mean, yeah, it's and he's not big. He's a slender. He's not he's not stoic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Where the other one in the last movie, I suddenly forget his name. He was Dark Stoic.
Dargo, Dar- Dargo?
Drago.
Drago. Like, it's something like that.
Drago Bloodfist.
Blood Fist.
Blood
You
Fist.
need a
I
surname,
really
I
liked
guess sub name.
With a
I
V.
really like this
Blood
particular
Fist.
moment,
Oh, yeah.
animation wise. For me, the colors are like really good here.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, and Hiccup, as a kid, he's a cute little kid.
Yes, his little face, the way his little side eye there.
His hair
So
is basically
cute.
the same, though.
Big head.
How some things never change.
I love that they made Stoic younger again, too. They caught that detail, you know, he doesn't have any gray in his beard, you know. And even
He's a
Gerard
bit
Butler
shorter.
animates him a little bit more, you know, he doesn't talk like it's heavier. Like, he has a little bit, I don't know how you do that to your voice, but he sounds even younger in this flashback, which is cool.
Yeah. And the
Mhm.
thing his words here fit enough with Stoic the character that they're not like changing who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do love anytime any of these three movies do silhouettes. They get them done really well. So this whole sequence, again, this movie is so good. Whenever it has, you know, Nastra comes up here and they start having conversations and there's like plot stuff happening, but the dragons in the background are just being silly. It does make the world feel more real and
Mhm.
lived in. When there's just the random crap happening, and like the dragons are playing or somebody else is doing something weird, or Hiccup was getting like arm wrestled or whatever, like his head was thinged, and then somebody else is talking and he's like trying to adjust his jaw. I mean, all the little nuances of those moments, this trilogy does really well.
Yeah. We were talking about that similarly when we were looking at the RoboCop movies, and how in the original there was just such a great little parallel with people doing stuff in the background and the world seeming alive versus where it's all just kind of straightforward and clean cut.
So
The evolution of Astrid is very interesting also. Her costuming is designed to where like each movie her hair gets a little bit looser, a little bit more flowy, and she has far less spikes and armor, making her like just softer. It's supposed to represent how Hiccup kind of has rubbed off on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how she has like a red and blue shirt, or at least top, which is from both the first and second film too.
Yeah,
I like her boots because she's always had really
they do look
big
really
feet.
comfy.
Yeah, but
the
like
boots with the fur.
Yeah, they get the fur right. I don't know. It's less just like in the other ones, kind of like this laced up, really tight, like kind of made her feet look odd. This actually looks like somebody still with big feet, but wearing big warm boots versus a tiny woman with Shaquille O'Neal's feet.
She's wearing Uggs.
That I love that. Just that because I have two dogs, and 100% they will play and wrestle and love each other, and then one of them will get something and be like, "You stay away." And it's just like the transition from playing together to "Do not come near me" is hilarious and very realistic.
Yeah.
Again, the background shot there, all the dragons like that are flying around Burke.
Even randomly. Right here, you can see some flying really far off in the distance in that
Yeah.
cutaway shot.
Yeah, it's great.
Their relationship is so cute.
Ooh. Okay, I know this is a design choice. Do you guys like? Sorry, before we get to when we get to the Light Fury here, I always thought it just looked odd that she's so smooth. Like I wanted more texture on her, like not like necessarily as much as Toothless, but it always struck me as an odd design choice to make her so smooth. But I'm curious what you guys think of that.
I think the reason behind that is because she can turn invisible a lot more easily than Toothless can. And
but
so
she
her
can actually camouflage. She can't actually turn invisible.
That's true. That's true. Hers is more camel. I always assumed it was supposed to be that, and maybe just to create a stronger contrast between.
Well, she's not supposed to be a Night Fury. She's supposed to be a different species.
No, she's like a subspecies. Is that how you would say it? Because they clearly are.
At this point, he'd be the subspecies.
Yeah.
True. But it's also might just be one of those. Well, they want to make her clearly very feminine in compared to Toothless. I think she's pretty, but I do understand what you're saying. She does have
Well,
very, very. You can see a bit of texture,
Yeah,
but you're right.
she's
It's
she's
very smooth.
she looks more reptilian in a way, like a little more. I don't know.
she looks more amphibious to me.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, just
I do
and
like the little how she's warning him here um about the trap that's there.
yeah. One thing I noticed
One
about
of the
this movie when I was
things,
going through it, sorry, really fast, I'll just say
yeah,
multiple times when they're in this low foliage, the way their tail interacts with the ground, I really noticed that multiple times in this film is just being outstanding. But go ahead.
oh, just one of the things that they were talking about in a couple of the videos that I watched on the making of this thing. Part of her design is that they wanted her to be very obviously part of like Night Fury um, lineage without actually being a Night Fury, but also they wanted her to be more simple because in nature you tend to have males be a little bit more like plumage,
Hmm.
um, a little bit more spiky, frilly, colorful, while females tend to be a little bit bigger and a little bit smoother. A little bit less, not detailed, but less greeblies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she can teleport.
Yes. Well, she
Or not.
uses her fire to like make it appear like she
Oh,
just
that's a cool.
vanished, even though she just cloaked, basically, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mhm.
see, now I want a Klingon bird of prey to fire a torpedo and then cloak at the same time, just to be
I
really
like
cool.
Bright
Right?
Fury. I
You like
like
What
the
about
name
White
Bright
Fury?
Fury a bit
Wait,
more.
that's probably a hate group.
I do love the the idea that reinforcing the idea that Fish Legs has made all of his own cards.
Yes.
Yeah. He's
I
the
like how he's
archetype
back there
dragon.
drawing on it right now too.
And here she is thrown around a bucket, just like when they first introduced her in the first movie.
Ah, fun little callback.
Oh yeah.
Do they ever
Uh,
explain this baby dragon that's just hanging out with fish legs?
oh, that's Meatlug's his dragon's kid because Meatlug is a girl. Um,
Eh.
so that's why his name is. I think it's like lug meat is what he said. No, he said fish meat or like meat legs or something like that. It's a combination of his name and Meatlug's
Oh,
name.
now it's just making me funny. Hungry. Funny. Hungry.
Oh my
Now, I
gosh.
do like the detail of him watching the mating dances, and he's like
Yes,
trying to figure it out.
Toothless.
he's,
I like
he's such a
Toothless
guy though too.
animation in this film is so funny. It's so well done.
It's like a teenage boy making out with his pillow.
Yeah. Well, he's just like, I must figure this out. This is now the most important thing in my life, which is very accurate.
Yes.
I had never thought of this before, and now it is the only thing that matters.
Yep.
Yeah, Toothless has a lot more like puppy qualities in this film compared to the others, uh, which I think is kind of
This is a lot
interesting.
more his and Astrid's movie than the other two, I think.
Well, I like this
I just
little
mean they
talk
seem to
that
have
these
big
two have. I think it's pretty funny.
So, did you take
Never take fire
the
from
whole
that man.
married thing, the whole get married, not get married? Was that part of accepting your chief, or is that more about just trying to be like, well, we don't need to get married, we can just be a couple, or like, I mean, I never quite understood what they were going
It's a growing
for.
up thing. It's like the final step of growing up, because all three of these movies are supposed to be about taking steps towards maturing. And the first one is about him finding out who he is. The second one is about him stepping up into leadership. Now this third one is about him kind of taking that final step into the ultimate form of adulthood, which is marriage and making hard decisions.
I guess so. It's just again, so it's been a year since the last movie, and was 5 years between, so 6 years. So he and Astrid have just been a couple for 6 years. At this-
And technically, if you're looking into, I watched one of these things that was a Viking breaking down, or an expert on Viking and Norse history breaking down this movie. And one of the things they point out is that she wears a headband through all three of the movies. And that is based on a traditional unmarried woman's virginity headband.
Huh?
And you'll notice that after she's married, she no longer has it. And at the end of the movie, when you see the kids, her daughter's wearing it.
Okay.
I
So
think she's
So-
I
still
think
wearing.
he'd be excited to be
So,
married.
oh yeah, but I mean, so you just like, sorry, Tasha. Well, you know, you're well into, you're in your 20s now. The idea of 6 years of being a couple,
I
and
was-
that it's like,
well-
no, there's no
And
way.
that headband is still on.
Yeah,
Here's the
that's
thing.
not
I was
possible.
going to throw out a bit of my technically, they weren't actually officially a couple until about 2 years before the start of the second film. If we're talking about all
Okay,
canonical
so 3
stuff,
years. So 3 years then.
3 years.
That's
Okay,
still
okay.
yeah.
it's still a long
Oh,
time.
trust me,
to
it
be
pushes
fair,
it, but it's possible.
and it's not like Hiccup isn't ready. He kind of like was a little bit disappointed earlier when she said, "No, we're not ready for that." He's like, "Oh yeah, no, of course not." Like I think he's clearly ready for it. I think
Yeah.
it's more of an Astrid thing, and I don't think it's meant to come off. I think they mostly just wanted to end the film with the wedding, to be honest.
Yeah.
And character-wise, you know, girls overthink things.
Yeah.
Like
Because marriage would also like she's an adventurer, she's a fighter. Marriage introduces the possibility of kids, which would affect her more than him. If you really wanted to go deep into it, like say you wanted to write a novelization or something, I could easily see them creating a bunch of reasons why Astrid would be the one to be very nervous about the potential of getting married.
And I don't think this is nervous, not like in a bad way, not in a she doesn't want to wait, in just the like, oh, I can't, more of a like, I can't believe I'm already at this point that I might be making this transition and I'm not quite sure I want to make it yet. Because if anything, it's a good thing. It means she's treating marriage properly and seriously, which, you know, lots of people don't. So I'm fine with the idea that she wanted to wait until she was 100% sure, because it was going to be, you know, it's probably, especially at this point in time, it's like you don't just marry and then just cause, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like it's like much more serious.
So this whole thing, I, it's not a bad scene. I appreciate little details, like him reloading his crossbow as he goes to sit back down. That they show that. I love that his
The
sword
fire
is
dripping
like
off the blade.
dripping off the blade. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's a good. I mean, they do a couple things to establish how skilled this guy is, which I appreciate. You know, that they have the the dragon that charges them and how he barely even flinches. You know, back with the generals, and then here, just the way he's presenting. It's just he and Hiccup should have had. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another example of like a like they actually have multiple conversations, but nothing where there needed to be a moment where one of them considered the other person's point of view. Does that make sense? Like something where one of them did something compelling in a way that may or may not have made the other person think about it. You know, if you were going to have a reflection of each other, if you're going to go for that theme, you absolutely can, and there's an interesting way to do that. But you need them, one of them to see like I could see how a series of events would have led me down this path, and they never do that. And I feel like that's a way they could have easily added a little more depth to their dynamic in this film.
Yes, I agree. I think something like that's missing. You know what's funny? I meant to say it like way, way, way earlier when Eret is telling them about this guy. Hiccup mentions that they've dealt with his kind before. That's actually another reference to the show, because they actually did kind of do that with a villain from Race to the Edge, which is Viggo Grimborn, where towards the end of the show, he actually does end up considering Hiccup's point of view a little bit. Not very much, but like there's a much stronger dynamic there. And I think they were trying to go for that again a little bit here, but just again, not enough development. And they don't really establish a strong backstory for him either.
He just
Like
kind of
why
appears.
did he need to kill all the night fairies? Like he killed one, but then why did that turn into the need to kill all of them? Because it's already been long established in this world that killing dragons until not very long ago was just a very normal part
Yeah, it's not like he was
of
doing
life.
anything like above. Yeah, it wasn't like he was doing anything crazy. Because
Yeah,
If
I
anything, he
always thought
just.
go ahead.
I
I was
always
just
thought
thinking
that
that.
there'd be a really good way to write that in where he's bored. He's the smart guy. He's inventing things. He learns that he's good at hunting dragons, so he decides that he's going to hunt the hardest dragons you can possibly hunt, which are the Night Furies. It'd be such an interesting thing because that like intelligence and talent that's not properly directed and cultivated can often turn into something very dangerous.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. It's
It's
funny. This scene is reminding me. I remember the memes that came out at the time uh about the Thor Ragnarok and this
Mm.
film. And just how
There
they
are some parallels.
well, like the joke that Ragnarok is man, I'm forgetting the name of the place. Asgard. Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. And then they literally
Yeah.
do that here too. Like, and they're both
take
Though
dirt with
this movie
us.
northeast.
was well into production when that movie was at the same time. It was
I
released
know,
two
it's
years
just a
after. That's
coincidence.
partially because of a
Um,
delay.
though I'm not quite this is one of those nether ones where like I'm not sure why this specific event is what pushes Hiccup to decide that now's the time to leave. Just completely leave Burke. Um,
Well, you're also
Yeah, I
like
again
think that
you're
it's a
thinking that
do
combination
they
of
know
events,
about
though.
do they know about the three other generals like and the potentially massive armies they have that would potentially pose a greater threat than anything that's shown up before? Because I think that
Well, it's not just Grimmel though. It's also earlier with the one dragon that knocked over the buildings that definitely killed people. Um, that
true.
they are stuck. They're growing too big. They have nowhere to go, and it's um with this other threat, he's just seeing that this little island no longer has the resources and space to house everybody, and it's exposed.
That's true. So actually, no, you're right. I remember actually now seeing how someone was making an analysis video showing how Burke
there.
really was actually going to be eventually facing some issues because of the overgrowing.
Okay, so
The-
really fast. There's a short or something, right, that explains the whole sheep and dragon costume. Isn't there
is
some?
there?
I thought there was
Is
something that like explained. Oh, his little stash. It's not loud. It's little. I don't know, like perv stash he's got going on.
And
Heard?
have you met teenage boys? It's the style right now to do that, and they look awful.
Oh, it looks so bad.
It's like the goose mustache that after Top Gun has
Oh, yeah.
evolved into just this terrible little perv stash.
Yeah. So I do appreciate the one thing about the villain that I do like is that he's not like he enjoys the chase and they kind of let that happen where I feel like he could have killed Toothless multiple times in this film. But he wants it to be satisfying. He wants to it's not just about killing a Night Fury, it's also about, the hunt itself, it's about the chase and he wants Hiccup to know he was beat or something. There's something to it there. And again, I wish it was developed a little bit better, but I'm glad that it's here. It does give him at least something besides
Yes.
just mad guy wants to kill dragon.
Yeah.
And
Also,
it gives him
I
a
love
reason
the
why
detail-
he lets them lets them have their outs every now and then because he's just enjoying himself. But he also is
Yes.
that cocky.
Yeah, I like that too because I watched like Cinema Sins do everything wrong with this movie, and one of the things that they mentioned is, oh, the stupid villain who does this stuff, and they're just like, no, it's a villain who has character and specific motivation, and they just wanted to add more numbers.
I like how
and
the Light
create
Fury
more
is so confused.
interactions.
She's like, "I just saved you from the human," and he's like, thanks, but actually, I need to save my human."
Yeah. I need him
She's
to
just
fly
baffled.
and I like him.
Yes.
So, fun detail is that he was eating an apple and he put that apple on the tusk of his dragon, and the dragon was hopping around in the background. And you see the apple still on the thing's tusk a couple times through the movie.
I know, I'm just thinking
'Cause he
poor
can't
dragon
reach
the
it.
whole time though.
Well,
It's like you can't get it off.
his dragons really were poor. Like, you just feel bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I love his main dragon too. I think it's the coolest looking thing, that kind of scorpion acid thing.
Yeah.
They're going to America.
He's so he does a good job of being like, he's all excited, he's just like annoyed, like, you guys are stupid.
Yeah.
Now get out of here. I was trying to have fun with you, and you ruined it.
He's got kind of a plague doctor look to me.
Yeah. Well, his hair is definitely, it makes him look like European, definitely.
Like Rick Sanchez?
Is that a reference?
Rick and Morty.
So these guys have been traveling for like what, a day or two? And they're like, yeah, we're done.
Yep.
Well, they're looking for other spots. And did you see the shape of that island? The big high walls and everything.
Oh yeah, very defensible.
Like,
True.
honestly, if they had more land they could cultivate, and it's got those big high walls, I mean, that'd be a great place to settle if you had flying.
The only problem I think they run into later is that they're in this really high place, but they, the dragon, spoiler alert, the dragons leave at the end. So like they had to, I guess they were already up there so they could build down, but
Discover.
make it more difficult.
Oh.
And this Gabber kind of
There's
curving
more.
on Eret.
No. Oh, because-
So one thing that I saw, because I decided to read some fan theories, because fan theories are always fun,
Okay.
is that Valka seems to favor the opinions of Eret, son of Eret, and Snotlout gets on Eret's case over things involving Valka, and he's suddenly wearing like a pin that is an owl and a belt buckle that's an owl that he didn't have in the last ones that's her symbols. People were just like, Eret and Valka are like together. Because when she's not in her armor, she has like almost the same belt buckle.
That's an
Yeah,
interesting
interesting.
theory, but I don't really buy it. I just don't really see anything. I think I think it's more to be of a joke than anything.
I could see that. It's just this one of the main themes of this movie, or the main theme of this movie, is about love and relationship. And so having like a secret background relationship is something that I could see writers and producers doing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I do like her response. It's not loud. That's
Everybody.
like I don't love the decisions they made with him, but I do think there are moments that are funny. That was one of them.
Well, it's like everybody's
how
annoyed by
old
the
is Valka?
twins, but the Snotlout, I think everybody is just like wishes would leave.
Yes.
Right?
Like even the characters in the movie know, if you left, we wouldn't really miss you.
Well, I think that's another reason why I get sad is because Snotlout is actually like one of my favorite characters from the shows. He's really funny and actually has some great arcs, especially alongside with like Hiccup and stuff. And it's just all gone. Like you get to the third film, like if you watch it chronologically, you watch the show and then you watch the third film, and like it's just all gone. Like every lesson he learned, gone. Like actual charisma, gone. Like.
It's like watching Revenge of the Sith after watching Clone Wars. You know?
Yeah. You're like, wait. This is
This is
oh gosh.
this whole scene that's like about to happen is probably might be like my second favorite in the film. It's just fun. It's entertaining. It's
Well,
I remember really well.
I remember with you guys watching the trailer for this multiple times because they revealed part of this in the trailer for this film, and you guys were just enjoying it so much.
It's so good. It's so funny.
Right.
Toothless is just so cute, and they animate him and the Light Fury really well during this.
Yeah.
Like, look at him. He's so excited.
He's a boy.
I like how she's like,
He's
shut
a
up.
girl.
Excited, that's the word.
She's like, I like how she's all graceful and like elegant. And she's like trying to do this all like romantically and like appropriately and stuff, and he's just like way too excited.
Sultry.
Um,
Yeah.
he's like he's
Yeah, that's
hopping
usually the way
along,
it goes.
like he's
Reflections
trying
are
to be
really good.
smooth, be cool. I like how this also shows he's a lot like Hiccup too.
Oh god. I have watched somebody multiple times in my life run into things like that, and it is never not funny.
Oh yeah, I remember once back in like 2012, I was talking to a girl who I thought was pretty attractive, walking along the street, and I walked right into a bus ticket kiosk.
Oh, I do.
Good time.
I also appreciate that they kind of keep the they use his inability to fly as like a plot point. 'Cause
Yes.
I feel like they could have had at this point Hiccup solve it, but they kind of use this film to show it a little bit, but they also let it be, yeah, just part of the interaction here. And this, I
You'd
love
almost think that
this.
maybe they would like
I know. Look at
totally
him.
had a previous platform.
He's like.
Oh gosh.
Well, I also like that
Maybe a
because
little bit.
Toothless is so used to not really being in the wild anymore that he's just also partly forgotten how what his instincts would be telling him to do in this situation. Because Life Fear is clearly following a more instinctual thing, while Toothless is just more experiencing infatuation.
Well,
She's
Toothless
just like,
is
bro,
domesticated.
impress me.
Yes, basically, he is domesticated and she is still wild. And I like how I like how his wingman is the human.
I'm not impressed.
I,
Go ahead, Zach.
I always love that. Oh no, I remember in the trailers they have Hiccup like doing the thumbs up stuff, and it's just really funny.
A little smile. It's so funny.
I'm a hummingbird all of a sudden. What is happening?
This is so funny.
I think it's supposed to be a. I think it's supposed to be a reference to teenage boys' lack of control sometimes.
Oh, that never happens. What are you talking about?
Yep, that was perfect.
What is
Thumbs
this?
up
That way.
great.
This makes me think, what is Hiccup doing with that?
I don't know. I don't think he doesn't. He doesn't realize.
What is
Hiccup may have studied the mating rituals of
Oh, the
dragons.
sound
closer
effects
than-
of everything going on too are great.
Yes, definitely need to listen to this with good sound. Good. So those who can't see this, Toothless is doing his various mating dances. It is quite
I
a
know,
long
this
sequence
is so-
of dragons.
Daytime,
This is based on a real
nighttime.
bird. Okay,
Yeah.
all of these are based on actual bird mating rituals.
Yes,
I'll
but
still
the
look at
next
names
one
of
is
them behind
But now he's doing random, like, I feel like he's doing the Egyptian dance there all of a sudden or something.
yeah,
It's just-
I know it's so.
oh my god.
No, it's a bird thing.
Oh,
It's a
I
bird
believe
thing.
it. It's just, oh man. Well, I mean, it makes sense that a lot of human dances have been, we copy animals. But there's a little meme of, I think I've shown Natasha this video before, but
The point.
the
It's-
nighttime, daytime, nighttime, daytime.
Yes.
When he's like,
I've seen that
okay,
one.
yeah.
Oh god.
I can't.
That's-
What made him think this was a good idea? Like, come on, Toothless.
Well, and Hiccup's like, no, don't do this. And he just takes all the wrong
He's like,
hits.
yes.
This-
He intensifies. It's like
Does
waking
this
up a
imply
cat.
that she's nocturnal or like crepuscular?
I think she's just resting. I don't know.
Is it just that she was so like bored? Is she just like, all right?
I think she's just.
She's tired.
I think this is called being friend zone. Oh, he looks so cute when he stands up there, and
Yeah, toothless on two legs.
I'm just in full I have no constructive criticism or thoughts or comments right now besides
Well, this is
Toothless is
just-
cute
it
for
is.
the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
I like the texture.
yeah, and that's okay
It's
because
stony.
one thing these movies
do
are so
like-
good at is just being adorable.
I like how actually his drawing does
Sand
improve.
texture.
Yeah, the sand looks so good.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen this movie, you almost need to see it just for this sequence alone because Toothless is funny and adorable. The amount of emotion that they're able to convey through these characters without any dialogue whatsoever, but then also like the technical achievement. They have this
Yeah,
wet
look at the
sand.
moss. And yeah, the sand, the
moss.
moss,
Yeah.
on the trees.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's so good. Just like, I love that not only does he drop the stick, his teeth retract there. Just- Like
Yeah.
the tongue work and just his ears.
Yeah.
I love how much they get the ears right, because again, like as somebody who has dogs and cats, but dogs specifically, their ears will tell you their mood so well. And watching a dog as they like go through all their mood changes and their ears are back and forth and sideways and twitching around, it's just they really get that right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, this is one of those just kind of sad moments.
Like, wait.
I do like earlier how she went around the picture after he growled, though, like showing she respected what he did.
Yeah.
But then, yes, this part right here is a little very sad.
I don't know. She looks weird when she's flying. Like Toothless looks kind of cool, but
Well,
I don't know. There's something
it's the shape.
strange.
I like the where her tail meets her torso is odd, and like the movement there is kind of odd. It
She's
almost
too
has like a
slick.
slight like fish almost look. It's like she's got like a fin back there or something. It's odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, here's the major callback to the first Christmas special that came out after the first movie. I know some people were like, how did he, like, solve this so fast? It's like, well, it's because you already had the plans.
Well, and he's been working on this for a while. You know, again, it's been 6 years. This is like
Yeah.
version. You know, he's basically Tony Stark. And
You
this
tried
This
this
is like a
once
Mark
before,
12 or
is
something.
the line that she's talking about.
Yeah. Man, they really get the texture of his saliva well. It's the, ugh. I appreciate the detail too that if he's going to leave this on and not be there to help him, that he needs to make sure this thing is way more durable. I just again that
Yes.
that detail I appreciate.
And that he's crushing up dragon scales to do it, and he's making kind of like a dragon scale glue. Though, I don't know how just a simple mortar and pestle can grind up dragon scales.
Yeah,
that
it's
seems
a little-
strange to me.
I like the Gobber again.
Poor
Singed.
Gobber. He's. This is moving on. Poor Gobber,
Again,
he just
this.
keeps getting thrown around. This.
Oh man,
So this is one of the things. Was one of the major changes that they made, because Hiccup was going to be resisting all of this. He didn't want change. He didn't want Toothless to be leaving. He wasn't happy about doing this kind of thing, and he was going to be almost an antagonist in his inability to let go of Toothless.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so sorry, I'm like gonna nerd out on texture again. His apron. Look at this
Oh,
apron.
his
Yeah.
apron's great.
Like the texture of it,
Oh,
like
yeah.
as he moves and flexes, like that is like fabric physics. That is crazy. Sorry, I just was like looking at that. I'm like, that looks so good. My gosh,
That's
man.
to the point of where I don't know if you could even
This little
call
moment
it
here.
fabric physics. I don't think that's a cloth sim. I think that it's something else.
Just-
Um,
I mean, like I don't know if
possibly
that's
even
hand
metal.
animated. I'm not sure that's
it
truly.
could be hand animated.
It could be, but like it's just there's so many little details in it. Like just yeah, it's. I mean, however they did it, hats off to the team that made this. Is dang, it looks
Yeah.
good.
I want to see
Yes.
Corridor Crew doing animators react to this thing,
Yeah.
especially that sand.
Yeah,
I'm just
Yes.
nerding out about that sand.
everybody just
Like,
like never mind.
Just ignore him. He's having emotional trouble.
Yeah, she does look like 10, 15 years younger all of a sudden. You're right.
I don't know, right? It's just like her.
Well, she's
face
living
is-
with people now, and she's not just like living in the rocks.
Yeah, but she's still
young.
like 40 or no. Sorry. Wait,
what-
hang on. a
what are you
second.
trying
She's
to
like
say
50,
there,
right? Let's bump that up 10 years. No, I guess
I
she
think she's
wouldn't have
supposed to be
necessarily
late 30s. I think.
late
Well,
30s or
I mean, their
40s,
average
maybe.
lifespan was in the 50s, right? You were like an old Viking and you were 50.
Probably.
Like, I understand your defense, Zach, but I still think she just looks much younger. I think it's just because of the animation effect that they kind of have for everyone going on. And in her case,
Yeah.
she just looks. I feel like her face shape's like very slightly different too. I don't know if that's just me, but this
I
is
can see
another
that.
cool sequence of events here. I think the
Another
song
5
that
minutes
plays
of dragon
is
flirting.
called yes. I think the song is called "Romantic Flight." I listen to it sometimes.
Well, they get the clouds look amazing. Also, too, just the way that their wings work, they really get the you can feel that there's wind. Like you just the way that the ripple is there, that it responds as they move. Like they really get the physical movement of flight to look great.
His face
Oh my
here is so.
gosh, he's such a dork.
Uh,
He's like, look at my new thing.
Like, all right.
I also love how well they portray both of them here, because like neither one of them's talking or anything, but you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're both dragons; they're not humans. They just do a really good job.
Yeah.
Doing
The-
5 minutes, no dialogue, just visuals and music and a couple of dragons.
Yeah, the communication that they're able to achieve is just excellent. It's the type of expressionism that they don't have in movies like the quote unquote live action Lion King.
Yes, it's not at all. Not a single frame of
Yeah.
live action in that film.
Yes, there actually is at the very beginning. The
Alright.
sunrise. Everything else was essentially in like an Unreal 5 virtual
Oh, this is
reality.
such a cool shot. I remember
So,
seeing
wait.
that shot in the trailer and then seeing the movie and being like, wait, it happens this early? I'm like,
He's like,
I
I'm
was surprised
tired
that
now.
wasn't.
I'm
I like how
sleepy.
like he's never done that before, and so he's like a little dizzy by it.
I totally forgot about the camouflage aspect.
Yeah. Aww.
Look at that.
A little
Look
hard.
at your face. Oh,
She has that look of like, have you ever like kissed a cat on the head and they just look at you like, the hell?
just like annoyed. Yeah, her wing shape is really cool.
Yeah, almost fairy.
Yeah, she definitely has like an ethereal quality because she also is sparkly. Yeah, sparkly.
Yes.
Very sparkly.
Well, maybe she's
She
the
reminds me of, like, one
stars
of
to
those
his night,
stones. But
because
yeah,
he's
she's
the
a
night fury.
because she's a totally different species.
Well, she's definitely a related species, but yes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, female night furies are white. But if you notice at the end of the movie when they have cubs spawn children,
Yeah.
they're like modeled black and white, which implies that they definitely are two different species,
Yes.
and thus they're not going to be able to create more light furies or more night furies.
Yeah, it's all new species. Because it is implied that they're both like the last of their kind, right?
There's
no, we
other
actually
light
see
furies that
more.
can be seen later in the
Oh.
movie.
I-
But there's no more night furies.
in the cave. I don't think there's a lot of light furies since we don't see or hear
That's
about
right. We
them
see
very
more
much.
light furies. But yeah, night furies. They don't ever show another night fury, correct?
See what I mean right here? Gobber's just like watching Eric's butt as he's walking away.
Oh gosh.
Like that's like the third time in the movie it's happened. Also, the food in here, when I was rewatching this scene, I wanted that turkey leg so bad.
Well, I love it. Like when Gobber like drinks, he like gets one of his like mustache braids like in his cup and then has to spit it back out. He gets it's just funny.
No, I didn't catch that. That's great.
Yeah.
That's the little stuff, the background things that just make these movies so much better.
Just love this.
And then like but then they're all gone when anyone else looks.
I'm tasty.
Picky.
I hate
like
his
a-
character in this so much.
It's just well, this whole I feel like they didn't know what else to do with him, so making him try to act this way. It's just I feel like if they had done it once, it would have been funny, but they do it like 3 times. Oh my god!
Well, he's the only one that doesn't really have much character development. Like everybody has their own little thing going on, the background characters, but not him. He's got the whole beard thing, and you think maybe by the end of the movie he's going to give up and accept that he can't grow a beard and he's going to stop pretending his hair is a beard. But nope, he does it all the way through to the end. But maybe that's the point. Some people just don't change.
I don't know. I saw someone suggest that one small thing they could have done to help that was, you know how Rough Nut and Tough Nut are at a bit of a feud throughout this movie. They're like a little antagonistic toward each other, like more so than the previous ones. They could have just had like a little moment or a line at the very end during the final battle where they're like, you know what, you're not so bad, you're not so terrible to hang out around all the time anyway. Like something very silly and very sibling like that, just to show a little arc like, siblings eventually make up in the end and stuff. Just kind of showcasing relationship and stuff. And then, it would have been barely anything still, would have been just a little thing, but
I love
it still
his
would have been a
suit
bit better.
so much.
I know, it is so cool. Why does Hiccup keep
Like,
getting like cool outfits?
Just looks really stinking good.
I do
These
like
dragons
how
look-
he just moved a finger. Like, he already knew what was there and stuff.
So for some reason,
I like Aerith also. Very Green Ranger.
oh yeah, these guys remind me in like those team up scenes of Big Hero 6.
Oh, a little
I can
bit,
see
yeah.
that.
A little bit of just similarities and just kind of the
Dude, and Big Hero 6 is just straight up How to Train Your Dragon. It's How to Train Your Robot, you know?
it's so good. Though,
Love
too.
that movie too. We should do that one.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that is one of my other just when you talk about like modern animated classics. To me, that's on the list.
Is it the really obvious Stargate reference?
Well, there's also that. It's also just very funny, and Betamax is just a fantastic
Betamax.
Betamax is a defunct 80s and 90s
sorry.
media.
I'm sorry.
Baymax is the giant pudgy robot.
Fine.
F. Murray Abraham has such a great voice.
They do a good job too. I'm looking at the animation of his mouth. It's just he's got such a big mouth, but like it matches his speech so well.
He's half mouth.
Yeah.
See, like right here, here's the concept for the story, like an interesting backstory that they could have started building to create parallels, but like we don't. But see, he just like why?
I decided to kill every last one and bring real peace. Like they could have. You're exactly right. This is where they could have expanded on his backstory so much, and like his joy in the hunt and creating tools to hunt. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, why specifically Night Furies did he have to kill in order to bring real peace? And then, or why say something like that if he also doesn't really believe in real peace? If he just enjoys the hunt, like he could say that, and then he could be called out for being a hypocrite. That would be one thing, but they don't really do that. So it's just there's definitely a like the skeleton is there, but like nothing else is. In terms of
is this? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to.
It's fine. I was kind of done.
This slime seems almost too realistic. Like this acid.
Well, the acid.
It genuinely looks like somebody is spraying acidic jello out of a hose in certain shots, and it looks like too good.
It doesn't really bother me that much, but
so is this whole tower? Did he rig up everything to be, have like the grate, or was it just this tower specifically? He like had the light on.
I think it's just the tower because he was outside of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they showed them seeing like the light on and going there, or at least that's what I thought was implied. But then, how did he know they'd come to this tower?
Lot convenience.
Well, he probably had the tower of his own, and he just installed all these traps and stuff.
Yeah.
It's his
Because
regular
he's a
security measure.
Oh.
Big dragon.
Big dragon
poor
go
little
thump.
guy. Little scorpion dragons make me sad.
Yeah.
Again, she looks very much like again Big Hero 6. It has the like messenger bag of like different
Honey
lemon.
Honey Lemon is like, I'm not one of those people who's into animated characters, but she's attractive, she's cute. Where
specifically
but
right there in that scene, because of her helmet going down around her chin, that scene very specifically.
Yeah.
I'm not saying in general, like just that one shot.
Rough Nut, her design is almost as unsettling to me. Her and her brother, their design is almost as unsettling to me as Sid the Sloth.
Sid the Sloth
from Ice Age. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I do love Fish Leg's little stash. He's got that 70s
Yeah.
like cop mustache going.
It's
Mhm.
like braided too,
Yeah.
similar to Gower.
I like Astrid's armor
Yeah.
also. I mean, the armor design for both Hiccup and Astrid both look really good in this movie.
Oh yeah,
Very heroic.
Well,
very
and
almost knightly.
yeah. I'm glad, I mean, this might be a weird thing to say, but I'm glad this movie did not make the female armor too female. It kept it just simple,
No
but
boob
like
armor?
cool. Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but
Practical
yes.
boob armor. I also really
I like-
like that they didn't make there be some sort of antagonistic relationship between Astrid and Valka. I think that would have been a really easy, low-hanging fruit trap to
Yeah,
go
they
for.
tried to do like the whole mom thing. This though is just
Okay, this is funny. Like, I feel like you could make some criticisms, like for the narrative overall about the, but it is really funny. Um,
No, her monologue is fantastic.
yeah. Just,
that's
it's just I'm imagining Kristen Wiig just like in an audio booth just having a ball with this. There's probably a ton of outtakes. I bet you she improv'd a ton of this.
Oh yeah, it's got to be similar to like Robin Williams and the Genie, having like 30 hours of just rambling dialogue. For those of you
this is
roundhead ass.
He breaks his pencil.
his hair. He's just so annoyed.
For those of you who can't see this, she is just prattling on. It's Kristen Wiig's character. She's in a jail cell. She does not stop talking. 3 minutes straight, and it is annoying as hell. And she's so delusional, and she's so nuts.
Yes, I do. Like,
Feed her to your dragons. Well, it's interesting because she implies when she meets it back up with Hiccup that she did this knowing full well that this would like get her like released, like was smart enough
Yeah.
to do that, but dumb enough to get
did
followed.
not notice. I think they should have just. I feel like that's one moment where they could have at least like let a
With
day
the
go by or
braids.
something,
It's just
where
the
they
the
stayed
interest.
far enough back that she didn't see them, but they were close enough that they were able to kind of keep
Yeah.
track. I think that's one of the biggest pacing problems that ends up happening with this film. Is
Well, they just need the third act to start at a certain point, and it just kind of happens. Like
Yeah.
she gets back, it just instantly he's there and has his whole thing, and nobody saw him.
Well, it's the
And
fact
he
that
has
they're
the time
right
to
there.
he has the time to not only trank Hiccup, Toothless, but also like get them all bound up and tied up to his little dragon helicarrier thing. And I mean, it's just, they just
It's
rush.
convenient.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those problems where you know how a lot of films sometimes have a really good build up, like in the first and second act, but then the third act, but they're like just out of time eventually,
Yeah.
and they just have to start
thing
the
is,
third act.
They could have made this movie 10 minutes longer, and it wouldn't have been overly long. This movie's, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, but you have to consider that $10 million on an animated film with a budget of like $125 million, that's like
That's true.
$15 million for 10 minutes. That's expensive.
Okay, so do you like that the end of the world is a hole?
The end of the world.
Oh,
as
it's
a
not
whole.
actually the end of the world, but it's like, oh, it's the end of the world, and it's a toilet bowl.
Well, the thing is, if you had people who are like sailing around, right? And suddenly you just see one of your companion ships just like, there's a cliff, and nobody's getting out of that. And they're all going to get eaten by dragons when they're at the bottom anyway. And they're like, oh, that must be where the end is.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
not going any further.
Like, this is a legitimate thing that wouldn't be found by anybody not on a flying dragon, because there's no way that they would survive it in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, well,
You would not be able to get close to it. You wouldn't be able to get high enough anywhere near it to look down on it.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be obvious until you were too close to not escape, because the currents would all be going towards it.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the
This whole
color.
This
Oh, the
whole scene
animation
is
here is
another
fantastic.
really good scene throughout the film. Like the music is good, the animation's good, like the way
Yeah.
they fly
The
around
UV
is really
blacklight
good.
bioluminescence.
Yeah. Well, when they go over the water, there's like underneath, oh, little baby dragons,
Yeah.
like little teeny baby,
See,
just unhatched.
right, and their eggs are translucent, which
I
is
like the
interesting.
idea that when Stormfly's like colors show up, it kind of reveals how this is like almost where the not just where the dragons come from, but like sort of where they belong to. And then fireworms. These are
This is
from
their
the
natural
series.
habitat.
Don't these
It's
like show
very
up at the
fantastic.
island and accidentally keep catching things on fire? Tosh, is that
Yeah.
the plot?
Yeah, that's like their whole thing is that when they migrate, is they set islands on fire along their migration path. And then the twins accidentally, because of poor decision making, set the entire island on fire in one episode.
I find it hard to believe the twins
Does
would
this
ever have poor
scream
decision
kind of
making. Go ahead, sorry.
Pandora? Does this seem kind of
Oh yeah,
Pandora and
A little bit.
a little bit Wrath of Khan Genesis Cave?
oh yeah.
Again?
Again, yeah.
I'm telling you, he's
See-
got to be a fan of Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I also feel like this is a little bit kind of like Jules Verne-esque in terms of just the vibe.
Oh, very
Mm.
Hollow Earth,
Yeah.
and done way, way better than Godzilla versus
Raise your
Kong.
wings.
Because Godzilla versus Kong can go to hell.
So okay, is this crystal?
Crystals, and this is a Fortress of Solitude.
So the crystals are like, so I mean they're way underground here. So just like a whole world under the world. But so
And I think
Toothless
if I
gets
was
here.
writing this,
some might say.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if I was writing this, you would have it to where these crystals, because they've done this in a couple of shows and books and things like that, where they have these deep underground things, but you have the sunlight and core light coming out of crystals because it can transfer the light without having an open breach. So essentially, somewhere these crystals connect to the surface where there's good sunlight, and it like transfers the sunlight.
I kind of thought it would come from like just further from the core, wouldn't it? Like magma cores.
And there's the alpha from the last one with the broken tusk.
Yes, that's a fun little.
yeah.
I missed that. I was just about to
Brian.
say it's interesting that even down here, Toothless is still like considered like the alpha to these dragons who have never met him.
Well, maybe it's because the previous guy is here, and he saw the guy that like wrecked him up, and was like, "Whoa, no!" And like if that, and if the wildebeest that's down here is like respecting this guy, then all the other dragons are like, "Oh, well, then we should probably respect this guy."
Yeah. The expressions, Astrid's like in awe, and just the sadness in Toothless's face. It's so good. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
He's like a beetle.
I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, what's with the beetle dragon? The bragon.
Going for a butt slide.
God,
good thing they have armor on. I can't imagine that.
Slide?
Ooh, that's where you'd be really happy you had your dragon leather armor on.
Yes.
Right? You wouldn't want to neglect your butt armor like Snotlout earlier in the movie. Because I would prefer fire than grated crystal.
Oh. Get some splinters in there.
It'd be like it would be like sliding down a hill made of a cheese grater.
Oh. I don't
You see, they call this one the Hidden World, but there's only like 5 minutes of Hidden World footage in the entire thing.
Yeah, and
I honestly expected there to be some sort of like climactic battle expedition into the Hidden World.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that ruin the point of it being a sanctuary for the dragons to go to, though?
But I mean, if
then
it really
you
became
just
about
get rid of
protecting
everybody who went inside, kind of like Atlantis.
I was just about to reference Atlantis. I'm like, they need that Atlantis moment where the villains are kind of at the gates, and it's just, you're fighting to save this place. Where Hiccup is in a position where he's trying to save the place where he's gonna give up Toothless, and there's just that, I don't know. You could have a good moment with a setup like that.
Yeah.
Dude, that moment of him coming down, though, and you see that Stoic is crying, I remember being in the theaters, and I was going through something at the time. Oh, goodness gracious. Amazing. Because it's not, it is obviously like the point of this scene, but it's subtle enough that, that some people might have blinked and missed it. Such good detail. And it's so well done in that scene. Just like, this is storytelling that's leaps and bounds above the kind of mediocrity of Toy Story 4. That came out the same year as this, but vastly overshadowed this.
Yeah. No, as much as I adore Toy Story 1 and 2, and I like 3 very much, yeah, it went it declined.
They shouldn't have made anything after 3.
Yeah.
Also, riding bareback on a dragon? Nah. Just nah. Astrid could do it. Toothless better have the Toothless. Dang it, Hiccup better have like a dragon scale cup.
The practicalities. I you know what? Knowing Hiccup and his knack for details, I'm sure he's got one.
Right?
I love his eyes.
Mm.
I mean, they've been good.
Dude.
They've been good all along, but like those close-up shots are just really good.
Well, you
like
can
how
see
you-
some differences. There's definitely reflect like multiple layers of reflective material in the eyes, just like in actual eyes.
Yeah.
You have subsurface scattering. You definitely have some sort of glossy texture on top of it. It's so good. So stinking good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
God, her playing with the hair.
Oh my goodness. Never look back.
It just
Her supreme confidence is just their
it just comes
undoing.
off a little weird. It's just
Oh.
all of a sudden there's this massive problem. And did they not see the ships coming back too? We've only been here a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's not
they
like
were just
that
in the
much
air.
There's not like that much cloud coverage. And he's already up here too.
No, like are none of the other Vikings with their dragons like scouting, keeping a perimeter?
Exactly. I'm just
Like you couldn't see this giant, massive fleet, and it's not stormy. It's
one of
not
those,
even foggy.
there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief in a lot of films, right? Where you accept certain unprobabilities, but this is one of those moments where it's like it feels so unlikely that it's honestly it's a bit jarring. I think this is probably where the biggest flaw of this film comes in, is
Well, it's
the
very abrupt.
really quick transition
Yeah.
to the third act.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that was pointed out on a couple of videos. They're like, "Oh, it's a plot thing. Why doesn't he just kill the knife here if he wants to kill them all?" But this is a moment where it's just like he knows that the Alpha is his key to surviving this onslaught.
Yeah.
So he's not going to kill him here. There is actual reason for it, and I literally like 4 of the videos were just like, "Why didn't he just kill the like?"
Because that was
He's the Alpha who has control. This is actually a very smartly written scene in that way.
well, and I appreciate as much as his character's underdeveloped. He definitely is an intelligent villain, and they don't have him all of a sudden just make like a dumb decision. Like his decision making is fairly consistent with the character as shown. And when his back is really against the wall and he kind of has the final, where he jumps on her and does all, like, I appreciate, because a lot of villains either, randomly just start making dumb decisions, or they make one really intelligent decision that hasn't been like set up at all, but because they need something to happen, they just use the villain as a plot device. And he's underdeveloped, but he's not bad. Like he's not badly written. He's just underdeveloped.
Yeah. Yeah. Not that this is out of nowhere by any means. Like they've been working at this, but I wish Hiccup and Astrid had
a little. Just I that's right. I know the expense and pacing and everything. I just wish Hiccup and Astrid had even more time to kind of really, come to this culmination where he starts trusting her more and just not even trusting her. He trusts her, but like leaning on her more and kind of taking her advice as she's stepping up. I'm not sure if I'm saying that very well, but
I kind of understand what you're getting at. I kind of wish this scene basically had more room. I wish this conversation could have been given like one more minute or something before we got to this callback. Because again, it's just things are happening so fast now.
Yeah.
Like within the span of like not even 10 minutes, like so much has happened.
This is just annoying to me.
Like something just yeah.
Yeah. I definitely could see if I think that if they had more budget and more time, they would have taken that scene and had it to where he goes somewhere else. It's not like, oh, they're just in a little pack and she goes off to talk to him. He would isolate himself. There'd be a little bit more of a valley of
I love the red of the tail.
valley of death.
Knocking the guy. There's so many ships.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Like the Spanish Armada.
This is the army that I feel like they could have set up this huge fleet of ships as also a threat that had to be worried about too. I think it's kind of what I meant earlier in the podcast about like just leaving and stuff, but
do you think there's any wingsuit in the world that would be able to support fish legs?
No.
Aerodynamics? Is it possible? I don't know.
Nah, dude. Oh, goodness. I couldn't even wingsuit. I'd be too heavy. And I'm not exactly, like, fat. Maybe a couple pounds overweight.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that he has this kind of chaotic energy to him. He's in it for himself, for his hunt, for his mission. He doesn't give a crap about these people's long-term plans, and he's about to screw around with, he's about to screw him over.
This battle is fun, even if we got here a little quick.
Yep, there you go. You should have locked that gate.
Yeah, fire.
Did they just not
really lock the gate against a dragon?
I think they just didn't get that far. I don't. Only 3 of like the dragons actually get out.
That's true. There's a hero moment.
To be fair, conveniently, it's the other 3.
It's great.
This little petting of it is just off to the side. This is really good. I heard one person talk about. Oh, that's right. He didn't even notice him. I heard one person talk about how this is the perfect weapon for Hiccup. It's technological, it's intimidating, it's scary, but it's not a blade. If you hit somebody with it, it's not going to hurt them. Or it's going to hurt them, but it's not going to kill them. He's not slashing people open.
Do they ever have
he disarms people?
Do they ever have Hiccup directly kill anybody?
Directly kill anyone?
In any of the movies?
No.
In the movies? No. I don't think so. I mean, the Red Death is definitely his and Toothless's kill.
Yeah.
But people-wise, I don't think so.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Toothless, like, while he's on his back, doesn't Toothless just obliterate Drago?
I guess, kind of. Yeah, but like, it's kind of indirect.
Here, I think that there's... I don't...
Oh, yeah, he just killed some people.
Yeah.
Okay, here. He just killed
romantically immolated like 10 guys.
Well, I was going to pull out a whole, well, technically, yeah, Hiccup and everyone else in the squad has absolutely killed people before. Like, they even, like, don't really deny it in the show a couple times, too, that they have killed people. I mean, it's still the Viking world, right? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still...
It's just what happens in battles.
I do appreciate the detail when he lands on the Light Fury, that he, like, has, like, the muzzle on, like, the same collar with the, like, the venom holder that he had on his dragons.
Yes. Yeah, and he injects them that way.
but and like keeps him, but like keeps it there, so it's like a slow drip.
Mm-hmm. But that one scene where the dragon like T-bones him, almost like the classic truck hitting a car scene, terrifying in the theaters. I remember jumping like, oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
They do make them competent in this moment, which I appreciate. I don't think
Oh, that one guy.
Yeah, that one guy's squished.
Well, I like how he survived the cage, but then just got squished immediately after.
Right?
Okay, I
And
wanted the
they all just
Wilhelm
died.
scream. I really wanted there to be a Wilhelm scream
Oh,
right when
yeah,
that guy went
Wilhelm
over the
scream
edge.
would've been great. Baby dabba. Mama.
He's angry. He's an angry dragon.
I
I
mean,
like
well,
this big dragon that's in the film. Like, he's just a fun.
yeah, he's just there. He reminds me of a moose. He's like a moose dragon.
Yes, that's a good. See, it just, yeah, these generals are like only here for these guys to fight. And we
Yeah.
don't even get to like see it.
You could just see that there were many more ideas to this that just didn't pan out, probably due to budget.
But
Do
the
you
thing
know
is,
who did
this wasn't like
uncredited rewrites on this script, Brian?
no who
Steven Spielberg.
really.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because like they didn't. This movie wasn't like rushed. It's not like they got this out like 2 years later. They took their time after too.
Mm-hmm. Almost so much that I'm like, oh, they're making a third. I figured that the second one didn't do very well financially because it took so long.
Yeah. Well, and like it wasn't a flop, but it wasn't some like massive hit. It wasn't again. It wasn't Shrek 2. Oh my gosh.
No.
Terrifying.
Oh my goodness.
Like little piranha dragons. What is it about like toothy small animals that's just cute, even though they're terrifying?
It's because
Oh
of
my gosh,
Stitch.
the freaking the Chub Chubs. You guys know about the Chub Chubs, right?
No.
No, Brian.
No,
surely you know the Chub Chubs.
I may have, but I'm not.
It was an animated short film that was released with the movie Men in Black 2. Shortly after Star Wars Episode 1 came out. And oh man, people went and bought tickets for Men in Black 2 just so they could watch this Chub Chubs short film. And it is hilarious. You guys should look it up. Anybody out there who's never watched the Chub Chubs, go look it up on YouTube. It's a little dated, but it's really funny.
I enjoyed the when Toothless rolls and smacks him with his wing, and then uses the environment. Like this is like a good aerial kind of fighting sequence.
Oh yeah.
In
this is
film,
better than
Toothless
any
has been
aerial
so-
combat in the recent Star Wars movies.
Well, in this film, Toothless has been so like just cute and funny for most of it. So it's cool. I'm glad that he still gets to show off that he's also a very cool and dangerous dragon too.
He is the alpha.
He's still
There's
like
a good reason for it.
I mean, this is just cool. I like how that because Hiccup is wearing Toothless's scales, that it protects him from it. And also turns him invisible a little bit too. Because that's why you can't see. That's why Hiccup disappears too. Very briefly, to be fair.
Oh, that's a good scene. It's like it reminds me of somebody like uncloaking in Star Trek.
Nice. I do think
this
that
is a little soon. I wanted one more altercation in the air, like a flying battle between them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because most of that happened with his dragons, not with him. Like he should have had somebody go.
Mhm.
I like this moment. Like I genuinely think this is a great character moment here.
Oh, great moment.
But you're right. There should have been after he dealt with his dragons. There should have been one more.
Yeah, like
something
the
with-
two of them
with-
circling each other,
Yeah, something there.
yelling a few things at one another.
He's just like, oh, it's just rude.
Like,
man.
I'm taking you with me. This is a good use of slow motion.
Yeah.
Not always a big fan of slow mo.
I appreciate
And-
they'd already set this up at the that first scene. with Toothless
the quick
playing with his
detach.
leg. Yeah, and
Yes.
the theme coming in.
Yeah, because the music
the music is so
not
good.
super great in this movie, but this moment brings it around.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's just a really good piece of music already. Like,
Oh, so good.
it's like the classic theme. I do like the
I love you,
little how she looked down at him, being a little bit of a callback to when Toothless looked at Astrid when he caught her in the first film.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
fun little
No, it's a great
da
callback.
da da. The music's so good.
Well, I mean,
Got her walk. She walks like a zombie.
I love his
Rough nut.
yeah, I do enjoy that his armor is like taken. It shows some actual wear and tear. Well, and we've talked about this in multiple other films, Zach, that a good theme is something that is kind of vanishing a little bit in modern genre storytelling. And I appreciate that this movie has a good theme and it knows and at this point, when it pulls it in, they haven't used it in a while and it just feels very, feels earned
Feels
and
right.
just, and it gives you that emotional swell that a theme should, a good theme should give you the feels.
Right? Yeah, like this line is like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
What did he
what
do?
has
This is
possibly
interesting.
made her say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to wrap up the few little things they had been doing. But I do like the
Yeah.
little between Hiccup and Astrid when they have that little head touch. It's
Yeah.
cute.
Very-
But
Well,
this
this-
upcoming scene,
Yeah. Well, just
Like
from
the
this moment
ending-
onward, it's just emotions. For me at least.
A lot of people online complained about the ending dragging on. I love a good, long, earned ending to a series. People should talk about oh, Lord of the Rings has 8 endings. It's just like it's fine. Let's have good, long endings that bask.
Well, and
Yeah, I've
again,
also
if you treat it like not just an ending to this film, but an ending to this trilogy, that you are turning, a massive page in the book, and there should be some weight to that, and weight has time, time properly used has weight, and yeah, I agree. I think that this is I have definitely one or two issues with this movie, as you've heard, but I think that the ending is a very solid.
Yeah.
It's fun. I actually remember being surprised when I found out that there was a pretty decent controversy over the end of the film. There are some people that really hate the idea that the dragons went away because they basically saw it as that they were giving up on the idea that they could create a peaceful world with the dragons and stuff. I just don't understand that take because I feel like this is a really mature ending to take, actually, especially considering the fact that it's the idea that the dragons actually do exist. Like they're kind of going with that idea too that this all kind of really happened, or at least could have really happened.
People were really upset is because they look at the first movie and the second movie, and just kind of all of the themes of them, and they'll read into it themes of slavery and minority, living in harmony with people that you thought were lesser than you.
Oh,
And
that is a
so
shot.
to have
Sorry.
So
that is the shot.
it's just so I remember I think I actually might have cried in the theater when I saw
the,
this.
the reverse
Oh,
hand.
Didn't
Oh,
didn't.
Sorry, totally. Just
I'm like-
There's
No,
that.
I'm talking through the most important moment of the. So,
But yeah,
Those who
I
are
think
about
I think people who kind of put their own, and not that you can't see parallels in the stuff that you were talking about there, Zach, but that's ultimately. I mean, this is just like the kangaroo version. Oh, they brought my crazy cat lady. That the idea of letting something go that you love for something bigger is, and that being a mature thing to do, and like you said, Tasha, an ending that it's not about everything being the way you wanted it. It's about everything being the way it should be, and that's I like it.
yeah, but other people have read into it essentially, who read in social commentary about things like slavery and other people. This movie is essentially saying, by its ending, that some cultures and peoples should remain separate, and they're like, it goes against the
Yeah.
message that they want. even though they're not looking at it from an objective, like, we're not talking about humans, we're talking about dragons, we're talking about a completely different species.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Honestly, we shouldn't be living side by
I
side
think
with
people
bears.
sometimes take these types of fantasy films a little too seriously. It's like context is important.
Nerds never
And
take their stuff too seriously, ever.
Well, I'm certainly not currently arguing with people about Brandon Sanderson's recent book, Wind and Truth. That's not.
don't tell me
anything-
anything. I have not read it yet. I'm actually very
Lower your
behind on that book series. So
Got to lower your expectations.
I have already heard stuff from Connor. So
Aw, you get a
the
wedding.
love
little
this, like-
statue in the back has the scene from the first movie's trailer poster.
I love that he's got Stoics,
Oh.
like, what do you call those? Bolsters? Is that what they're called?
Pauldrons?
Pauldrons, yeah.
Oh, those, yes. Brooches? But her hair is now completely transitioned away from a braid.
Yep, Aaron's got the
But
bouquet
yeah,
there.
Aaron got the bouquet thrown by Gobber.
So beautiful.
Oh, the little stuffy
Oh yeah, he's
baby
got a stuffed
dragon.
version of the dragon.
Finally, right? Yeah, that's...
Yeah,
I know.
she doesn't have her head
See,
band
everyone
anymore.
else also knew.
Her hair looks amazing, by the way.
Oh,
I know, it's
really good
looks
hair
so good.
simulations about this entire
I'm so
thing.
jealous of the little flower braid she has. It looks so pretty, and I want it.
She's got to be cold.
Ah, they're used to it.
I mean,
Yeah, trust her,
the cloaks do, more than you'd think to help you keep warm.
Especially fur.
Yep.
And then this whole part right here, I love this line. There were dragons when I was.
Oh, I like him aged up. He looks good.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, this is like John Krasinski,
Yeah.
It's amazing what a beard can do.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
He looks...
little
Yeah.
bones.
He's a good-looking animated dude.
But yeah, you see that the daughter is now wearing Astrid's headband that she
Aw.
wore throughout all three of the movies.
But she also still has a headband on. And I get that
She
it's a
does.
different headband, but
The fur. Sorry, it was like the fur in his case. It's just so
Oh.
good. My gosh.
Yeah, that animation.
Oh, he's a little
I
baby
mean-
dragon.
baby dragons.
He's baby dragons.
Those
I
kids
love-
have names, right?
Yes,
Like,
they do.
that's-
I don't remember what they are.
Because one of them's really stupid.
I love this moment actually. That it has been so long, and that Toothless has slightly returned to his more primal instincts. That it actually takes him.
A second, yeah.
Yeah, he's a little bit feral.
The music here is good. And like, this is such a good.
Maybe he doesn't
well
recognize
done
him with
scene.
the beard.
He's like, you look different. You
And then like
smell
when he
different.
smells him,
Yeah,
they're being.
it's just that.
But then like I
moment.
like how it only takes a
Oh,
second once.
yeah,
you
well,
know,
and
like,
yeah, his pupils open up, and you get that. Oh,
it's just immediately like, wait, it's you, it's my human. And he's just immediately
it-
back.
Yeah, I thought it was such a weird
Exactly.
choice to like make it so that he doesn't remember him, but I don't know. The payoff is great.
it is, and it's. I mean, clearly, it's been what, probably 4 or 5 years here, minimum. assuming that
Minimum.
they-
I'm guessing closer to like 8.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking,
the
like, if
daughter
they-
looks like she's
Yeah, I mean, if they had started having kids immediately, yeah, she's terrified.
her face.
And
is-
who
Well,
knows
she's-
how many children? I mean, how many boats they've had to sink? You know, he's been
Yeah.
like the guardian of this hidden world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and like for these kids, they've heard stories about dragons their whole life, but this is the first time they've ever seen one in real life.
So,
Oh, the
looking
music.
it up.
Sorry,
Oh,
like
oh,
he's still got the
it's
one
so
shoulder.
good. I like how he's
The-
like the little arms.
The
Go
kids'
ahead.
names are Zephyr and Nothink. Such a terrible name.
Oh, apparently Toothless's kids has names too, but I don't remember what they are.
Yeah.
Or at least I thought they did. They might have been fan given names, maybe. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, the music's so good.
Yeah.
The little baby
It's just-
dragon.
I love that it's just a return to the pure music from the first one. It's not like a riff on.
Yeah,
No, and I also like how we kind of end with just the initial wonder of this of just flying on dragons, and it's just cool, and for these kids this is such a wonderful experience, and I think that's the feeling a lot of kids, especially like I remember when the first film came out, that was one of the biggest wonders of the film. um was just there's just something so cool about this.
Yeah. This is
And a
like you're
lot of
saying.
these narrations are taken right out of the books.
Yeah. Well, it's
Mhm.
also just, again, you've earned that. Just an indulgent ending is the perfect way to end this type of a story.
Yeah, I love an
Ah,
indulgent ending.
so da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da. The last few notes hit so hard.
It is good. It is so good.
And then the credits are good again too.
Credits are great.
I'm a big fan of credits that at the, I mean, like, I will unironically YouTube and just watch the credits from Return of the King, where they go through the hand drawn of the cast, because I love credits that call back like the entire series, and like this one is such
A
a
little
great.
weird, but okay.
I well, I
He does.
also like the song too, but
Oh, yeah. It's a good one.
yeah, but like this, I love that they go back to all of them, and some great moments too.
Yeah.
I think it does actually help just tie it all together too at the very end, just kind of reminding the audience like, oh, remember all that they've been through, especially when this is took like years
Yeah.
Yeah.
to fully come out.
So
What
this
was the total
movie,
spread? Yeah, what was the total spread there, Zach? Is from first one to this one? It's like almost 10 years, right?
20, 10 years exactly, actually.
Oof. Yeah, for a trilogy, that's a decent run. I mean, like, as far as like that's longer than you usually try to go.
And they all made money. This one, $129 million budget. Box office was $540 million.
Yeah.
The previous one, 145 to 621 million. So they were profitable.
Yeah. Well, and I think this, and there was a reason why I will be genuinely curious after Lilo and Stitch how good the live action does, because I feel like this is one of those, even though, again,
Well, Lilo and Stitch is breaking records.
oh yeah, I know, but
so
that's what I
think
mean. Like,
it's
in the face of that, and Lilo and Stitch is a '90s nostalgia thing, but like this is,
completely different ending.
yes, yeah, I heard about that, but I'm curious because this is such a, like, I've never met anybody who's like on How to Train Your Dragon. Like, it's a very, I feel like it's a very beloved franchise, even if its box office numbers weren't quite,
Yeah.
Pixar level, Frozen level stuff. But at the same time, like, it's just, I'll be really curious. I'll be curious to see what the return is, because that will tell you in a way kind of how much the pent up, like, missing of this there is in culture. So,
Well, I think of it very similarly to the Planet of the Apes trilogy we've already covered.
yeah.
Excellent, excellent trilogy that it often goes overlooked in the face of the other movies that were coming around at the same time of it, but they're probably like some of like the best sci-fi trilogy to have been released in the 21st century. This is the best animated trilogy, I think, possibly ever.
If you're talking about trilogies, the only trilogy that I would consider is the first three Toy Stories. But,
I know, but I like these better.
and it's I wouldn't like fight you on that. I think for me they were the first two, and what's funny is even there the first two mean a lot more than the third one. The third one's very good, but anyways, it was a thing. But no, this is if it isn't the best trilogy, it's second or third. Like, it's right up there. I can't. I mean, trilogies are hard to do. We talk about genre.
Exactly.
Like, to nail all of them is incredibly difficult. And we've talked about this in multiple other genres, and not genres, franchises that get the first two right and then just whiff on the third one. It's
Ooh, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's way more common to whiff the third one, and like I said, this one, as much as it might have had some legitimate, I think, issues and some things that I wish that they had tweaked and changed. The ending is still amazing. The there are beats in it that are so good. it's still, as a third movie and a weakest in this trilogy, still leagues ahead of many other animated films.
Yeah. If only Shrek 3 was better, then I'd put Shrek up there, but sadly it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't bad, but
Yeah.
it was definitely nothing compared to the second one.
Yeah, I barely remember the third one, honestly.
Exactly.
Isn't that the
But-
one with like
How-
Arthur Kid or something?
Yes, it was the one with King Arthur, played by Justin Timberlake. Whoa.
Yeah, for me personally, just I like in terms of pure enjoyment, my top animated trilogy film is definitely How to Train Your Dragon, because I can understand the arguments for others being a bit better, like just overall, but like Dad mentioned Toy Story, like I do agree that Toy Story is very good, but I don't have a super strong like connection, at least not with like the first couple films.
I didn't show them to you a whole lot growing up. They weren't in the staple of films that we went through very often.
hmm But for me, and part of it is honestly just nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's like I just love these films and I love these characters, and it helps that they were part of my childhood.
I'd
growing
like to
up.
pretend that I just, made sure you only saw really quality stuff growing up, but then somebody else in your life introduced you to direct-to-DVD Barbie films, which, we could talk
Which
about.
which I just finished going through all those again with my youngest brother.
They're so
now
bad.
he is now all caught up. They are the original Barbie films.
Oh, God. This
are
took a turn
still
on Zach all of a
Good
sudden.
quality.
Still, wait, did you just defend the original one?
I can't really say anything bad because, I mean, did you ever see the animated Bionicle movies?
No, honestly. I know of
So
them.
listen, Dad, they're the type of films which they're cheesy, but they're also so fun and good. And honestly, I think you can't enjoy them because you're a guy and you just can't understand some aspects of the film that are enjoyable for a girl.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Here we-
no, I
it's
will
it's fine.
respect your opinion. You're not wrong in any way, shape, or form, but I'll mock you a little.
Well, to be fair, I am specifically referring to a specific age of Barbie films, but I understand you guys don't want to talk about that. We're on How to Train Your Dragon still.
Yes.
They're,
So,
they're,
Save
they're
that
different
discussion for
ages
another
of
time.
Yeah. No, do you would you ever be able to make a sequel to this? I feel like you couldn't. I don't think there's a way you could do it without undoing in a way that would be. Yeah, I feel like you this is an end where the story needs to be in. Like you could make another movie about Hiccup and Astrid, but I don't know.
I don't think so. Like they
It's
did a
not
little
impossible,
short
but I
after
feel like
this,
it would be
but-
very difficult.
Yeah, you would essentially have to do something where the dragons are kind of. You'd have to make it further in the future. Dead, Tooth dead, different dragons, different breeds, why they're coming back, why it's now safe for them to come back, in which case you would need to create some peril, which would then make it so that, it's not actually safe, but now we can work better.
Well,
It'd be really complicated not to just
is Reign of Fire
the first three.
the unofficial sequel to How to Train Your Dragon trilogy?
Oh my god. Brian, you've found it.
Oh goodness! But those are wyverns, right?
Yes, they are wyverns. They're not actual dragons because they do not have 4 limbs and they use hooks on the front of their wings like bats. And I hate the design. Dragons should have 4 limbs, and that's both FOUR and FOE. 4 limbs. And
Nice.
I don't know why. I don't know why this is a thing for me, but my entire life, I have hated dragon designs where they use their claws like arms like that. I'm like, no, dragon has 4 limbs. And I have no logic for why I feel so strongly, but somewhere in my childhood I decided that is the gospel
Well,
truth.
I mean,
And
I
can't
think
let go of
it's
it.
just part of being a nerd is finding arbitrary hills to die on and sticking with it regardless. And like you got to respect that to a certain point because I don't know a single nerd in my life who doesn't have a short list of things that's like, nope, this is the answer, everybody else is wrong. I will die on this hill. And I feel like every nerd's entitled to a short list of those things about something they like.
Unvalidating or decanonizing the Star Wars expanded universe was actually a really good idea on Disney's part. It needed to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
But they're not cleaning it up well.
Yeah.
They need to take what works and incorporate it in and get rid of what doesn't, and I will die on that hill.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. They should have. The first thing they should have
done.
The
Yuzang Vong are too weird and kinky.
There's elements of that I would have thought would have worked, but yeah, no, I agree. But anyways, this has been a good. I mean, maybe one day in the future we will we'll visit the live action, but
I'm totally up for it.
It'll be a while before we revisit this
year
franchise.
From now.
Yeah. No, this has been fun. This has been really good. I mean, this is just it's a fantastic trilogy. The best. The reason why I think I bring up Toy Story so fondly for me is it was my first experience with the blending of, and I know this, and I'm not saying it did it first by any means. There's plenty of other examples before it, but blending themes and characters and humor and things that like adults would totally understand and be interested in and not hate. Like, it's not an agonizing experience to sit through what your kids want to see, while at the same time making it very accessible to kids. And Toy Story blended those really, really well. They were just very smart. And this trilogy is also, very good at that. And
yeah, I would never crap on Toy Story. I personally think that this is a better and more enjoyable series than Toy Story.
And I'm not even necessarily trying to bring that up to argue those two things. I just mean, like, that was an example of that really made me aware that you could do that you could write something with that balance. And then this trilogy is such a fantastic example of the same thing, where, as at the time in my 20s and as a dad, I enjoyed these very much, and at the same time my kids, and laughing at different things, they also loved them. And there is something special when you can create something that parents and kids can both love at the same time. And that as you grow up, because I mean, Tasha, there's been a couple things, right? That as you get older, you kind of understand more about like certain jokes and more about certain themes, that you love them as a kid, and actually your appreciation grows as you get older. I mean, how would you describe that?
Honestly, a perfect example of that is like the first How to Train Your Dragon. That's an example. Cool, like the different types of sarcasms and some of the jokes and stuff like that. That's one of the best. That's one of my favorite things about revisiting some stuff that I watched as a kid and getting to kind of watch it from a different perspective, with just more understanding and being able to appreciate it on another level. I love it when a film is able to accomplish that, because it gets to mean a lot more later, and then you get to connect with it on like several different levels. So like the first How to Train Your Dragon is very much like that for me.
I think that's one of the reasons why the show Bluey is so popular among young parents right now, because it connects so well with parents and adults just as much as it does with kids.
I have never seen it. Sorry.
Me neither.
It is actually really good, but I'm so sick of it because my family and my nieces kept talking about it, that my wife and I are like, if we ever have kids, we're not showing them Bluey, but we probably will. But it's way oversaturated right now. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. I've said enough controversial things on this today.
That's okay.
And I don't want to die.
No, you're good. But no, this has been great. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Tasha, for joining us. It means so much that you're joining your nerdy dad and his dad podcast. And it's funny, when I started this, I remember you and Connor both being like, "You're starting a podcast? Isn't that like what dads do when they Like everybody's got a podcast.
Yeah, I remember.
That's what
I
dads
remember
do
like
when they
the
don't want to go to
judging.
therapy.
Yeah.
Well, it was like a thing at the time too. Was like all these. It was like a joke at the time too that so many guys like around your age, like no offense, but were starting podcasts and stuff. And I was like, "You're doing it too? Oh no!"
Yep. And here you are.
Well, it was fun.
Yeah. No, this was fun.
Which was a good thing to do for a podcast. So
Yeah. But I appreciate it, and like I said, yeah, hopefully one day, but no plans as of now. But maybe Big Hero 6 will bring you back or something like that. But
that would be a fun one.
yeah.
I love animated films, especially. So
Yeah. But and Zach, a pleasure as always, my friend. And
Yes, indeed. Thank you for joining us, Dasha. Thank you for pushing this one through, Brian, because I absolutely love these movies.
yeah.
And with that, adieu.
Good night.
goodbye.
There's doors and corners, kid. If you don't clear the room, if you don't come in slow, that room will eat you.